allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and see a symbol of perfect friendship among the united cultures.
Lori Pruitt.
Father God, as we come before you this morning, we'd like to thank you for our many blessings. And as the leaders, employees, and public of Eddy County, we ask that you would help us to make the best decisions for this county. We ask that, Father, for a special blessing upon these leaders, our state leaders, our federal government leaders, that they will make the right decisions and that you will guide their decisions in all things. We're thankful, Father, for all that you have given us. We ask that you watch over and protect our law enforcement and those that have our best interests at heart. And these things we pray in Jesus' name.
Amen. Okay. Public comments. 3 minutes. Public comments. Okay, moving on. Service awards. Mr. Larry, you want to?
Sure.
Small one.
Okay. Ernie,
Okay.
Michelle Smith is not here today.
Do what now?
Michelle Smith is not here, the
Okay.
third service award.
Okay. Our service awards will begin with Judy Pressett, Assessor's Office, 30 years.
Yay! That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yes. Angela Granger, Motor Vehicle Department, 5 years.
Thank you so much.
That's great to work there for 5 years. Congratulations.
Jose Banda, Artesia Public Works, 5 years.
I really like their jackets. They're so sharp.
We instead of single file? It's not going good for you. They're behind you. Big boys.
You can't try and hide your dog now.
Trina Lee, Detention, 5 years. Okay. Uriah Macias, Facilities Maintenance, 5 years. Okay, we have a retirement presentation. Ronald D. Harkness, Facilities Maintenance, 8 years, 4 months. Okay. Okay, we're going to break for pictures.
I think since there's just 3, maybe we could squeeze in here.
Okay, yeah.
This is what we used to do quite a bit. Squeeze in here. No scooching. Just nobody hit their head.
Well, there's no promises there.
These are the only kind I bring.
Yeah.
Scooch, scooch, scooch.
We're scooched.
Oh, that way.
Congratulations.
Center. Thank you.
Watch your head, Judy.
We got one more.
Wide load.
I'll go over here.
Oh, there she is. Trina?
Oh,
We'll stand next to Miss Susan. There we go.
yeah, now we grew. We grew more.
That's all right. You'll be.
Good looking group.
Congratulations. I'm gonna do this. Squeeze it. You're not scooching. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Who's this?
Thank you, John. Chairman,
Don't let her leave.
He's gonna get.
Trina Lee, Chairman.
Yes.
Trina Lee's here now, so she
Oh,
give her-
okay. Can we do Trina Lee? Hitchens Center, 5 years.
Congratulations. Thank you. That's big too. 5 years in the kitchen.
Okay, River Blitz update, Jerry Strong.
Jerry, I'm Mary Garwood.
Good morning,
She's
Mary.
painting today, but I still love her. So I'm Mary Garwood. I'm the Keep Carlsbad Beautiful Director for the City of Carlsbad. Every year I get a chance to come before you guys. And this year you were kind enough to give me 15 minutes, so I'm going to take you up on it. We've been doing River Blitz for right at a little over 20 years, 21 years now. It was established in 1999 with the Keep Carlsbad Beautiful program. We are under the umbrella of the New Mexico Clean and Beautiful program at the state level. I actually serve on the New Mexico Clean Advisory Board for the state, and we make recommendations to the state for changes we want to see in our program. But the overall umbrella, we fall under the Keep America Beautiful program. So you guys probably all remember Iron Eyes Cody, the Crying Indian, that campaign. I think that's their most campaign. So those values, our mission is to inspire and educate people to take action every day that improves and beautifies their community environment. That could be, man, I could tell you, I've been doing this for almost 5 years. Our mission is to improve recycling, beautify communities, and to, I just lost it. You'll have to forgive me. I'm kind of nervous because I have the whole 15 minutes. But our mission, for reals, I could do it if it was short and sweet. But that's our mission, is to make sure that people understand beautification projects, and it comes in a variety of forms and fashions. I could ask Susan if, what her version of beautification it is, and it would be to end littering. End littering is the third mission. And I could ask Ernie what his mission would be, and it would be to plant a tree. I could ask John Henry what his would be, and it would be to paint a mural. Nobody's wrong. All of those things could come together and make a beautiful community, which would improve the value of our lives here in our area. So illegal dumping is our main focus right around this time. I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing quite a bit about it. We've been working with the Energy Advisory Board as well. I've been attending those meetings, working with Jerry and that mission. It's right along with what River Blitz started 20 years ago. You can see tires, junk. We've all seen things like this, whether it's inside the city limit or it's out in the county. This is the type of stuff that I get to do when I'm not doing presentations. It affects us all. Safety, cost-wise, somebody has to come out and clean this up. This is things that are found in our city limits. You can tell in that same pile that we found with the pallets was this shoe, a little girl's jelly shoe with the syringe in it. So we don't like things like that, but it's a reality out there. So you ask, what can you do to help? Getting involved, spreading the word, jump on in. The Rotary conducted a highway cleanup last year, and that's one of the members, Troy Williams. And we had a high school basketball club last year clean up Chapman Road, and that's a picture from their efforts from going out. Last year with Leadership Eddy County, sponsored by XTO and NWP, New Mexico True program right now has a trash tag challenge. For Toss No Mas, Keep New Mexico True, Do Beautiful Things. It goes out on social media. So anybody that has that hashtag will pick up and that picture will be posted. That day last year in June, we collected 1,408 pounds worth of waste. And we found all kinds of stuff. It was behind the Carlsbad Mall. That's a real hot spot. But here we are talking about River Blitz, and that's why we're here every year. It was established, like I said, in 1999, so we're at 21 years and counting. It's the first Saturday of every March. People come out. I mean, we tend to get anywhere from 300 to 400 people, and there's some people that don't even come into town. The majority of the cleanups do happen out in the county, and it's because we love our Pecos River. Michelle and Curtis Perry and their daughter, Ariane, started the effort back in 1999 because they're huge nature. I mean, they're always out and about at the river. They're river rats. That's what I was trying to go for. This year we have Mosaic Potash that's going to be sponsoring the lunch, and we have community partners that'll be coming up to sponsor raffle prizes and such. Over 117 tons of material has been removed in that 20 years. We have people that come out. You know, I've been heading this up for the last 4 years, and I have people that I only see for River Blitz. You have people that just love that river, and that river is what brings a lot of people to Carlsbad. I know tourism isn't the main reason necessarily folks come here anymore, but it's definitely an added bonus when they get here. So it's just kind of changing the way that we look at things. But we've seen everything, you know, tires, litter. I mean, just you name it, we probably came across it. It's not pretty, but it's happening, and thankfully people come out every year to pick up those sites. We have a couple of pictures from River Blitz. We have there's a diving rock picture. We've got Lower Tansel. We've got the chutes. Some people, I don't even know the names of some of the river locations, and they'll say, do you have a team going there? No, I don't, but if you want to go head it up, I will totally give you the bags and gloves to go do it. People have their little secret spots or their fishing spots and hunting spots. That follows suit. I just got back from Memphis. We love our Pecos River, like I said, and that's what inspired it all. It helps us to keep New Mexico true. The New Mexico True program is under the Department of Tourism, which ultimately, you know, we want to have people want to come and visit here. Like I said, even though the tourism isn't maybe the main factor anymore, we definitely don't want people to leave our area and say, oh, you know, Carlsbad, Eddy County, no, that place is trash. We don't want that. So here's a video that I am super excited. This is the second time it'll be shown. I did show it at the Energy Advisory Board, but it was a while in the making, but I'm excited to show it to you guys. And it'll show you a before and after. XTO Energy sponsored it, and I'm just really excited to show it to you. You can see the before and afters, because there's nothing like a picture or a video.
It's been like a year in the making.
It has. It's been a year in the making. There's volume or not. I really think the music would have made it more dramatic, absolutely. God really felt it, but I guess that wasn't an option this morning. But you can tell it makes a difference to hold this event. And having a clear picture like that really shows that, you know, when people go out and they really show how much they care about our river, and they really do enjoy it. How many people, you know, I know whenever I was growing up, I have plenty of memories, my friends and I going out to the river, and you know, we may have been doing some not illegal stuff, but we might have been drinking a little bit, but that's just the reality of it. But, you know, people have lots of fond memories. They like to go swimming. They like to fish. They like to hunt. They like to go out and go shooting, you know. If you do those things responsibly and pick up your stuff, then we wouldn't have the issue that we have. And for River Blitz to have gone on for 21 years, you can't necessarily attribute it to one group of people or one, you know, we all want to say blame this or that, but 21 years ago we had an issue enough for it to start this movement. So for it to be going on, I would love to one day not be able to have to come here before you guys and say, oh, we still need to do this event, but we do. It's the reality of just having people, just dealing with people. So social media, it can be used for good. Sometimes we're retroactive on things, and we don't always want to acknowledge it. Keep Carlsbad Beautiful has a Facebook page. Artesia Clean and Beautiful has one. River Blitz has one. City of Carlsbad, New Mexico government has one, and Eddy County has one. So these are all partners here in our county, in our area, that have come together and realized that we do have an illegal dumping problem, and we understand that, you know, education is necessary. We are a Facebook community. We are Facebook. I mean, we live on that thing, I think, sometimes. But those are some resources that maybe if you didn't know about or you're not following them, it might be good to lead. You know, if you have constituents that want to find out more information, how they can get involved, they're more than welcome to sign up with me year-round, you know, whether it's for a beautification project or picking up litter if they have community service. There's always something going on. So I just want to let you know you guys are appreciated. We couldn't do it without you. We really couldn't. Because I can say, heading this thing up, I mean, people come in and we go to the rec center, you know, the first Saturday of every March, but the majority of the cleanups are going on out in the county. They're going on out at Diving Rock. They're going on out at Black River. They're going out at Higby Hole. The majority of the folks that come out are out in your county picking up the trash. We just kind of head it up and feed them at the end. You know, we have the groups that'll go and do Lower Townsville and things, but it's a fairly quick cleanup as opposed to some of the stuff that gets done out or loaded out in the county. So I would just want to thank you and for your continued support, and the staff has always been great to work with. Never had a hiccup there. Everybody's been just so great. I just want to say thank you. And if you have any questions or
No?
I have a question. Were we able to get out into the schools this year? Were you able to do presentations in the schools?
No, not this year, no. But if for those of you that don't know, we did secure the Carlos the Coyote contract.
Okay.
So we're looking at getting that into the schools this coming year in the fall.
And then the other thing, Mary doesn't know this, but I'm going to surprise her. Still a little bit of Jason Burns' thunder, but the Solid Waste Committee met last week when you were in Memphis, and Jason and the Solid Waste group are looking at getting some of the heavy-duty metal dumpsters like they have like in Ruidoso with the heavy lids, and possibly putting them out in some of those areas so hopefully people can throw their trash away. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
That would help.
I think that's a really good. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah.
Stealing a little bit of your thunder.
Yeah, there is, I mean, that is an issue, you know, if there's no place to throw your trash,
Right.
that's going to be a very viable excuse. I mean, you know, for people to dump.
So I just want to say thank you. You do an amazing job with all of the different hats that you wear.
Thank
We
you. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
Mr. Stephen?
Thank you very much. I don't have anything, but appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just, looks great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mary. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys too. I really do.
Okay. Annual report on county extension services.
Yeah, Mr. Woods Houghton and I lost your name, sorry.
Wayne Shockey.
So now-
Charlie Fisher.
There we go.
We'll take turns taking seats, I guess.
Gotta take these
Anyway.
the first time. Can I just switch?
Yeah,
switch
you
it
can
around?
just-
You guys here?
Hey Wayne, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. Like,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's our 105th, we just completed our 105th year. So my 30th year in Eddy County, my 42nd year with New Mexico State University. So I told you last year I wouldn't be here, and here I am. I won't be here next year, I don't think.
Sure would, sure.
They found my paperwork that they lost, and they lost 2 years of my previous military service, so that was an interesting 6 months of trying to find where they did with my paperwork.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, so I'm still here, but I was, this is kind of our annual report. Some of you know what Extension is. Extension is a three-way partnership, 1/3 county, 1/3 federal, and 1/3 state. County is a driving force for us. We just finished our needs assessment. We'll be writing up our next 5-year plan of work. I'll figure out what the next poor guy's going to have to do. In that 105 years, the interesting thing is there's only been 7 agricultural agents, which is a fairly long tenure for each one of us. We averaged, 18 years a person, which is pretty good. And we've been writing impact reports, and some of those are included, and we can get you more of those if you'd like to see them. But one of the impact report, I decided I was going to pull out an old county agents report, because I got every report going back to 1917. And I randomly picked one from 1958, pulled it out, read through the county agents report, written by my mentor, Richard Merrick. And he wrote about a young man that was in 4-H council that became council president, that he could see being a positive leader in the future, community leader in the future. He really wanted to encourage this young man to do that. That young man was Jerry Calvani. And that young man became National Cotton Council president and opened up the cotton trade into China as National Cotton Council president. So we never know what our impacts are going to be. And I was sharing that story at National County Agents meeting with the guy, and he says, I remember my county agent was telling me, he says, he was Jimmy Carter's 4-H agent. He says, the guy was dangerous with a gun on the shooting range. So never thought he was going to be president of the United States. So we never know what our full impacts are until later on. But if you have any questions for us, that's what we're here for. We're your county extension office. We're funded a little differently, and we're run a little bit differently, but for every dollar you give us, we get $1 from the federal and $1 from the state. So, any questions?
Commissioner Crockett?
I don't think I have any questions right now.
Okay. Commissioner McCutcheon?
I don't hear the shooting sports are going well, and there's a lot of things that are kind of tapping off and doing good in the community. Are there any plugs for recruitment, I guess, that you guys have, or anything that you guys are pushing that we need to know about?
So I'm going to go off of what's in this report, not what's in it. I'm going to add to it. Proud to say that as soon as this is over, I'm going to run out this back door, because we're setting eggs in every school, every 4th grade classroom in Artesia school districts. We are in with them for a school enrichment program. So we use that as recruiting as well, to kind of answer your question there. So I've worked with the Carlsbad area, a little bit more difficult for some reason, but I do have 2 teachers on board to run that Egg to Chick program right now. Generally, if we can get that kind of kicked off with 1 or 2 here or there, we see it to kind of sort of growing within the school district. So we'll use those opportunities for recruitment within the 4-H program. And then, of course, any chance we get when we're seeing youth with any program that we run, we always try to put a plug in for recruitment. So.
Okay, yeah, good deal. Let us know about any programs that you've got. It's good to ground kids in agriculture, because you're close to the giver of the gift, and so you end up having more gratitude, because if you're a farmer, it's got to rain for you, right? So you've got to be close to the giver of the gift, and I think that's a good program. So a lot of these kids aren't close to agriculture, and I think it's good to promote that and get them an experience of something things that are beyond their control that come through and happen. And I think that's good to have that view of agriculture. So appreciate what you guys are doing.
Commissioner Woods.
I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Henry.
I don't. Just keep up the good work. I know great things happen, so I appreciate it.
I think it's a great program. I think it's things that young people carry with them for the rest of their life. I know that my daughter started out in the ag program up at the high school and did judging horses, and she's been involved in horses for her whole life, and she's almost 40 years old today. I mean, now, but she loves horses, and I think that one of the things that helped her along that way was the ag programs and stuff that she is involved in as a young person. So, thank you.
If I may add, a little feather in our hat, we just, last month, we just won our 3rd straight parliamentary procedure state championship.
Wonderful.
Good.
So,
Congratulations.
got 2 kids that are unfortunately too young to attend a national contest, but that's great, because we're gonna bring them back next year, we're gonna run for 4.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, I did have one question.
Okay.
Woods, are you working on a replacement?
I don't get
Is
to
it
work
good?
on replacement, that's up to the university to,
Is there something as a commission we,
you might want to ask them.
okay, I think we should.
But, my last day will be April 30th if paperwork finishes.
Leanne?
Leanne Marta is our district director.
Okay.
And that posting will go through her and then through to the university.
Okay,
Leanne will be the one to visit with probably.
okay.
Okay.
And we're extremely excited to have Charlie on board.
Yes,
We're in
welcome.
October.
Yes.
Back on board, she was with us.
I was
9
gonna
years.
say,
am
we're
a little recycled. 9 years ago, I was the Extension Home Economist. Now we've changed our name to Family and Consumer Sciences. And I get the blessing of working with youth on the Family and Consumer Science side of 4-H, as well as working with adults in the county. And we've got some good programs lined up for diabetes education, for Prevent Type 2 diabetes education, working closely with senior citizens in Artesia. One thing about recruitment, Stephen, is state 4-H has and national 4-H actually has some new curriculum out, well, since I was here last, with health and wellness, and getting it into schools and doing a school-based 4-H program strictly based on health and wellness, trying to kind of face the battle of childhood obesity, juvenile diabetes, things like those issues.
One of the programs
Bring
that
those here.
is unusual that we have done is mental health first aid.
Oh, right.
I became a national instructor. People say, what does that have to do with cows, plows, and sows? Agriculture is the #1 suicide rate in the nation. People in agriculture. So that's why I got involved. We are doing mental health first aid for youth, for adults working with youth, in May in Artesia.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ellen. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Woods, can I have an of those to give to my dad?
Pardon?
Can I have an of those to give to my dad? Does anyone else need?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, tree holders board recommendations.
Just to go into
No.
public hearing.
My dad was
Public hearing.
way involved in all that for so many years. I like to give it to him. Morning, Jason. Morning, Dawn.
We're going to sit down. There you go.
Hopefully just not in your lap, though.
Either way.
That might make an interesting picture.
Yeah, I'll be like, we need some more of those. No, it's a tiny food thing. We'll have to tell you later.
I thought it had to do with food babe or something.
No, no.
So I know we're gonna have questions about where some of these are at, so there we go. 2 for 2 here. It's a lot easier to drive this thing with that mouse. Yeah, it'll be all right. Try one more time. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We've come to you this morning. We convened the Freeholders Board. We convened the Freeholders Board here recently to evaluate a certain section of roads and certain selection that we were presented. And as we go through this, I've asked Mr. Waters here to represent the Freeholders Board so that we can go through these individual and answer any questions in the thought process that we might have on any of them that we went through. So I assume, Cass, we go through these individually, or? Yes. Okay. So here, if you want to go through, I'll drive.
That's dangerous.
Hey,
Just read off the paper.
every one of you guys got in my Tahoe at one time in Santa Fe.
All right, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, the first road we're talking about to vacate, the road we're recommending is Ballard Ranch Road. It's down south of White City on the way down to the Washington Ranch area. It's County Road 420, and it basically is a road that goes from 418 back to the ranch house itself. On all sides, it's basically the farmer that's there, and as I understand it, the farmer is requesting that we vacate this. So this is kind of a driveway for the farmer to go back to their actual farmhouse.
And so it's deeded land on both sides?
Yes, sir.
That's what John wants. Ballard.
Yes.
Okay.
This is his father-in-law. From what I understand, with talking with them, they're wanting to gate it off. So they're wanting to remove it off county maintenance so they can put a gate on it and do some fencing. So just to give you an idea where this is at, this is Washington Ranch right here. This is the road coming into it, and here's Ballard Ranch Road. It's just that section.
Okay.
So then you need to vote on these individually, right?
Vote individually on it.
I think we have to have our,
Yes.
Yep, well, that's what we've done in the past. I mean, there's no specific procedure, but that's how we've done these individually. Any comments, any questions on each road? And
From
then,
my discussions with Ms. Gay, is the ones that we're going to vacate require an individual vote, and then the ones that we're going to maintain and keep on the maintenance can be done in one vote. Is that correct, ma'am?
Bulk. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's open it up to questions. Commissioner Crockett?
no, I'm in agreement to vacate it.
Questions? Commissioner Wood? Okay, I do. Do I have a motion to vacate?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we vacate Ballard Ranch Road, County Road 420, junction of 418, west and north.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
we need to have, if there is some comment from the public, we also need to get that.
Yeah. Don't we wait and vote till in the public hearing?
We're gonna
On
vote,
I, in the public hearing?
you're gonna vote on each one of these.
Yes, the vacation.
Yeah.
Don't we do it down here in the public hearing under I?
This is the public hearing.
No, this is not. We haven't opened it yet.
We're still up there.
We haven't opened the public hearing.
We have to go through these and then they open the hearing.
Okay,
Okay,
We
so,
don't vote till down here.
all right, we can go ahead and do it, but we do need to get public comment if there is any.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have any public comment?
Cast public comments here in the hearing.
Okay,
It's up here though, right?
That's how we did it last time.
so would you like us to present all these and then do one vote, sir? How would we like to proceed on this?
We have to open the public hearing, and then we have staff comments, public comments, and then we vote on them down here.
All in one vote?
Yeah, because we can't vote before the public
So
hearing.
you want us to just go ahead and run through these and present them all?
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
can do that and then open for.
Gay,
public
I'm not,
comments.
am I wrong? We have to open the public hearing?
Yes, the A through I is the procedure you need to go through for the first 4 roads in
Yeah, that is a procedure for each one of these.
Okay.
The rest of the roads, you can go through the whole thing and make one road.
So, okay, I understand.
Yeah, we have to open the public hearing before we can vote.
Okay, so let me ask the question. Are we going to open the public hearing for each one of these, then ask for staff comments, which would be you and the freeholder board, and then follow the A through I for each one of them? Or
For the vacations.
But I would think you would open the public hearing for all roads.
Yes.
And then you would go through individually for those that you're vacating and follow steps
A through I.
A through I.
B through I.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we still have a motion on the table, and I believe we had I don't know if we had a second or not, so we both gotta let it.
You probably need to withdraw it and then open.
Open the public hearing
Public hearing.
first.
Right.
Make a motion to open public hearing on each one on,
The
Till we have
roads to be
that
vacated.
motion.
can I get a motion to withdraw your?
I make a motion to withdraw my previous motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we open,
Oh, let's vote on this withdrawal,
oh,
since we have a motion on the table, right? To withdraw.
Yes.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Now we'll have a motion to open the hearing.
Chairman, I make a motion that we open the public hearing for the 2019 Eddy County Freeholders Board recommendations.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any question? Okay. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Now,
So you could go to staff comments
Comments.
for Ballard Road.
As we stated previously, this is a driveway to Mr. Ballard's ranch. He's wanting to gate the road and has requested that we remove it off of our inventory.
Are there any public comments? Any commissioner comments and questions? County attorney comments and questions?
yeah,
So now you are able to enter a motion to vacate that Ballard Road.
okay. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we vacate Ballard Road, CR 420, at the junction of 418 west and north.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Staff, can I get something on the Haroon Road now?
Do we need to close this and then?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Don't touch that.
We're gonna do each of them and then we'll,
Yes, sir. All right.
get to the end, we'll close it.
So go ahead, John, on Haroon Road.
The next road is Haroon Road. It's down in the Malaga area. It's CR, it goes from CR 745 to the junction 720. It actually is between deeded property, between those two main roads. I believe one of them is Bramble Road.
Duarte and Bramble.
Yeah, Duarte and Bramble Roads. This was again requested by the landowners that are down there, and my understanding is they're going to gate it off. They have a lot of traffic that instead of going around the bigger roads of Bramble Road and Duarte Road, they've been cutting across right in front of the farmhouse, and they got kids out there. I know that family down there has some kids. So they're concerned about that, and they would like to gate it off on both sides.
Have we gotten public comment from the other people in Malaga, or just,
This was also a FEMA project that, from my understanding, previous administration agreed with FEMA, instead of repairing it, would just remove it from inventory. And this is kind of a housekeeping that they agreed to with the landowners here in the farmland.
okay.
Any public comment?
Commissioners? Any comments?
I've had calls from 2 of the landowners that really would like to have this vacated, this
Okay.
property.
Are they close to or
They're very close to the
road
the
itself?
road itself,
Okay.
yes. And it's more of a public safety issue because they get trucks flying down there, flying past buses, all kinds of things.
Is this a paved road or a Clayton road?
This was a chip sealed road before the flood. I think it has since been taken back to a dirt road.
Okay, is this gonna somehow increase traffic in front of somebody else's house? Is there any?
That was gonna be my, it's
there any-
exactly a great comment.
Well, there's,
Duarte Road and
we're maintaining any access to any of the pads here. So they, yeah, they are wanting to close it here and here. So there is still access, but they were worried because there was a lot of high volume traffic that was going right here in front of their house and shop and this home here. So this was a request from the property owner.
So what's the other route to access Bramble Road? I guess you come in off of 285?
You come in here off of 285 and then go up on Cirrus and then turn on to Bramble because it's also blocked off here due to the flood has washed out this low water crossing.
Okay, what about 744? That's going to increase traffic on 744 if you don't have 745, right?
744,
Right there.
which one is it?
Nichols.
Not as much. We're seeing the majority of our traffic that is coming on Cirrus and going Bramble or going Duarte, which we are planning a complete reconstruct on Duarte here in the very near future.
Duarte's in pretty rough shape.
Yes, sir.
Ortiz what?
Pretty rough shape.
Yes, it is.
And Nichols is still just a dirt road. I don't think people can go quite as fast.
We're not seeing as much increased traffic here because they either hit on Cirrus and come here or they go straight up Duarte.
The better paved roads on Souris and Bramble. It's just a longer way, as Mr. Waters mentioned.
Right. What they were doing here is they were coming up Bramble, and instead of coming down on Cirrus and making this turn, they were coming up Haroon and bottlenecking this intersection through Malaga, is what we were seeing. So.
Is there a crossing on the river right there? Yeah. Is that one still?
At Bramble here?
Yeah.
Yes, there is a crossing.
low water
This is actually
crossing.
one that's been improved here recently.
Okay, so.
It's a good crossing.
There's also another crossing that's been improved here shortly that we're looking at for alternate routes on McDonald as you come around 746 and down and right here. This one's been improved. So when we're looking at this is actually one of our alternate routes that we're considering.
Okay. Comments from Commissioner Woods?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. My only concern is the impact on other roads. We're gonna redo Duarte. How soon would this be shut off? Would it be something that we would want to hold open until after we get Duarte completed?
I'm not going to comment. I guess I will. Landowners already, it's already blocked off due to the FEMA repairs. So
What side is?
they have a mound here that is, the damage occurred right out here in the middle, and they actually blocked the road off at the FEMA, with FEMA funds to make sure no one got through there, so it's already blocked off.
It was when they did the.
Really just the access off of Duarte, right?
Yes. So it's not been a through road since 2014.
Okay.
Understand each one of these vacations have to be brought before the Board of Finance for approval. Or depending on the value, we can get it with the local government division of DFA. But when we close these, we still have to get permission from the Board of Finance.
I knew that. Wanted to get that fact out there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions? Okay, county attorney comments?
None.
Okay, entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion that we vacate Haroon Road, County Road 745 through Junction 720 northeast to Haroon.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay, comments from the staff on the next road? Cloudy Lane, CR 760.
Mr. Chairman, Cloudy Lane is again, it's down in the south part of the county. It's a real rural road. It basically is a desert. Whenever we were looking, and I know this is my personal thought process and of several of the freeholders, we wanted to make sure that we're not closing something or recommending closing something that generates revenue for the county or that serves multiple residences if they don't want it closed. So those are the two thought processes. As you can see from this road, it doesn't serve really much of any purpose. In fact, what it does end up being is a maintenance hog, especially down that arroyo that's through there. That's one of the main water courses when it floods around there, and certainly that creates a maintenance problem for the county. And you can see you can access it around the 748 to get over to 758 or vice versa. So it's not really serving much purpose. There's no homes on it. There are no oil pads on it. Any of the oil paths can be accessed by the roads around it. So.
Okay, comments from the public? No comments from the public. Commissioner comments? Okay, can I have a motion? Or county attorney?
None.
None. Okay, can I have a motion then?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we vacate Cloudy Lane, CR 760, Junction 48 West to 758.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Staff comments on Bolton Road, CR 59, Junction 57, north.
Mr. Chairman, Bolton Road is in the north part of the county. This is one of those requests that came from the landowner that's around it. Essentially, they've asked to have that closed off. They have the majority of the farmland around it, as you can see, and you know, we looked at that. There are some oil pads in the general area, but they can be accessed through other roads, probably even better through other roads that are north of that. So that's our recommendation.
Okay. Comments from the public? No public comments. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Crockett?
I just want to say, I think this actually will save the county money because our flood commissioner was actually going to use some of his budget to do some work around this area, and if we vacate this, then he can spend that money in another part of Bolton Road, is my understanding.
I've got no comments.
Commissioner Woods?
I don't have any.
Commissioner Henry?
I do. We got to close it, please.
Okay.
You know, the landowner has really, really wanted this closed. All of that's his, and everyone on there is some sort of his family, some type of part. And they got kids going out there throwing parties and just trashing everything on his farm. So we really.
Is that his pond up there in the corner of that crop circle? No, go right.
I would assume he pretty much owns everything over there for the most part. So, but yeah, they just have. It's a mess for those poor guys. So.
Okay. I have no questions. I guess the only question I have is what roads will it impact and what kind of condition are those roads in?
This will impact no road, sir, as it is a dead end, and he's just wanting to put a gate there at the intersection of 115 and 116. He's wanting to gate it right here.
Okay.
So that's why this being a dead end road with his property being all around it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. County attorney?
I think what Al was asking, is that a pond that an oil company uses?
I think this is his pond.
Okay.
That he uses for water and one of his irrigation ponds.
That's what it looks like from that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we vacate Bolton Road, CR 59, Junction 57 North.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Hutchins.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay, so the next ones are going to be roads that we're going to follow in road sections, inventory and schedule for maintenance. So, are we going to take these individually or just as a whole? Okay, so you're going to give us staff comments on those as a whole.
Mr. Chairman, the first one's Buckeye Road. And as you can,
I don't know if we go through these individually.
You want to go through them?
I think we just say that we evaluated all these as the freeholders board. If you have any of these you have concerns about, we can review them real quick. We felt all of these had an economic impact and that were something that we could sustainably and reasonably maintain with the Public Works Department. And we also had, on several of these, we had calls from the landowners and surrounding citizens that requested us keep these open. So if you have any of these individuals you'd like to look at, we're prepared to go over them and our reasoning, if you'd like us to.
No. Public comment. Have any public comment on these roads? Okay, commissioner comments.
I just want to say that Commissioner Wood and I want to say thank you for keeping Jones Street on there.
Yes, sir.
We get both of us get a lot of calls from that area, and we want to say thank you.
I did receive a phone call from that owner too that requested we keep that open because that's his access to the.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So thank you.
Commissioner McCutcheon.
No, sir.
Commissioner Woods.
On North Haldeman Road, have you got a map showing of that?
Yes, sir, I do. You can. We felt this was a connecting road between your Mill Road here and the paved part of Halderman that connected Compress up here. And there was also access over here to the commercial business there and the circles. So we decided that wasn't one that we needed to keep open or closed right now.
Okay. It's from East Mill Road.
Right, you come right down here, it's on this paved section, which is the paved part of the state road, which this is also Halderman, which is state maintenance, and then it goes off this curve and becomes county maintenance, which is still North Halderman and ties into Compress. That's the section we were evaluating.
Okay, here at East Mill Road.
Yes, sir.
That right there in that corner there is a bus turnaround.
Right here?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been used before as a bus turnaround. And I know that the bus company had expressed some, they said nobody's done any work on it in years anyway, but they were wanting to keep that on. And not the one going on north, but just that one little corner there.
Right here?
Yes.
I'll pass it along to my road department, that when we go take care of Halderman, that we be sure and get this little Y right here in the whole little intersection here.
A lot of times the highway department uses it to pile dirt in.
Right, you can see the piles right here.
But that ranch house up there, used to be a youngster lived there, and they would bring him down here and meet the bus. And the bus made a turnaround right there in that Y there.
Yes, sir.
That'd be my only concern, and the rest of it, I don't have a problem with, but the turnaround there.
Right, this is one we're retaining on the maintenance, so we'll be sure we get this little Y here too as we get there.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Any
Mr.
others?
Henry.
I'm good with it.
Good with it. Okay. County attorney?
No comments.
No comment. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to keep those open.
Make a motion to retain, do I need to list every one of these or just? Can I just say retain the following road sections as?
Yes, you can do that.
There is also, with the agenda request, there's a letter stating with the specific links. So maybe as stated in the letter addressed to the commissioner, the chairman.
I make a motion to retain the following road sections I through VII as stated in a letter from the Freeholder Board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Do they have to close, do they have to adjourn the hearing?
Can I have a motion to adjourn the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes. Okay, trailing agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Do we have anything on the commission meetings for the minute of January 28th? Any questions or changes or anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve commission meeting minutes for January 28th, 2020.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Commission meeting minutes for February the 6th. Any comments or changes? Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion to approve commission meeting minutes for February 6, 2020.
Second.
Have a second? Motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay, expense approval report for January 2020. We have any questions? Anything that needs to be noted?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the expense approval report for January 2020.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Purchase card approval list for January 2020. Any questions?
I went through the whole P card list. Everything looked okay. I think we probably need some sort of standards going forward on what we do with the P card list. There's a few things in there, but nothing to bring up right now. But I'll visit with Mr. County Manager about that after the meeting.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Make a motion we approve the purchase card approval list for January 2020.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
McCutcheon.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay, set canvass meeting for our Artesia municipal election. Robin and Darlene.
Yes, we have a meeting. I mean, we have to have a meeting to canvass the election, so we have 10 days. I think we gave you a list of dates that 9th through the 11th through the 12th at your discretion to close the canvass. We have to, you guys are the canvassing board, so we have to meet for you to sign off on it.
Okay, of March.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
9th through the
10th is
11th. I
final
won't,
day in a commission meeting, so.
I won't be here, so
I should be right.
you'll be here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just need 3 of you for
We
one of
need
those.
3 of
10th would be great.
The
March
9th,
10th.
11th, or the 12th?
Right,
Oh, the March 9th, 11th. Oh, okay.
or the 12th, yeah.
So not the 10th.
Not the 10th, it's filing day, and we have a commission meeting. I guess what's going to be is we also have a loving election that day. So we're pretty slammed over there. It would be more convenient since you're all going to be here probably.
On the 10th.
Is it the 10th? Do you guys have a meeting on the 10th?
I don't show it. I show us one
No,
on the 3rd.
it's just us that's crazy that day, not you.
No, we just have to come sign up for the
So,
election on the
We're
10th.
crazy the 10th.
Yeah.
We've got filing day, loving election, and it's,
We're not gonna have a meeting on that. do we?
you're not having a meeting.
No,
I think our meeting is the 3rd.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
the 3rd.
Now, when's the election? When would we,
Yeah.
election that we have to canvass?
The election that you're canvassing will be March the 3rd.
Okay,
So we have to wait 6 days by law before we can convene, and then that's the first available date.
okay. I won't be here that week.
Close the canvas.
I'll be here.
Okay, and you'll be here?
Yes, sir.
We have one more?
I can be here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3.
That's all
That's
I
on
need.
the
So
10th?
the 9th, the 11th, or the 12th, which-
9th, 11th, or 12th.
whatever's good for y'all,
I'm good either one of those days.
Yeah.
and whatever time you guys want to do it.
So can I have a motion for a certain day?
I'm good any of those days.
I'll make a motion that we set the canvas meeting for March 9th. What time?
Whatever's good for you guys, we're ready.
8 a.m.'s fine.
8 o'clock?
Whatever's
8:30.
easiest for you guys coming from.
Let's do March 9th at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, perfect.
Second.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay. Call for the vote?
Henry,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Approve, disapprove 2 indigent burials. Veronica?
Good morning.
Morning. So I'm needing approval for 2 indigent burials with Denton Funeral Home. Any questions?
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the 2 indigent burials as presented.
Okay, do
Second.
I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote?
Henry,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Position reclassification for facility maintenance. Brian Stevens.
Morning, Brian.
Good morning. Chairman Carlson, Commissioners, this is, I would consider a routine or an opportunity to reclassify a couple of positions in the facilities department that'll kind of streamline some things and make some things easier to manage and help us build a good, solid team for years to come. So I'll stand with any questions for that.
I don't.
Mr. Crockett?
No, sir.
McCutcheon? Woods? No. Mr. Henry? Okay, I have none, so can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the position reclassification for facility maintenance as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote?
Henry,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Commissioners.
Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Resolution and agreement consent agenda. We can do these as a whole. Is there anything that we want to pull out?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
No, sir.
Commissioner Wood?
No.
Okay, then can I have a motion to approve?
Mr.
No.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we approve the resolution and agreement consent agenda as presented, pulling no items.
Second.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay, call for the vote?
Henry,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay, department updates.
Jason.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, quick update this morning. In our South Road Department, on our concern tracker, we've added 4 and we've completed all of them except 2, which have been added to our scheduled maintenance for blading and maintaining. We're in the south. We're currently working and rebuilding London Road. We're reclaiming that road, and we will be hauling millings to it, rolling in, planning to chip seal it in the spring. As soon as we're done with London, we're going to move over to Carrasco and complete that one as well. We're also blading Buckeye and Longhorn this week and next. In the north, we've had no concerns reported, and we completed the trailing one that we had. And they are currently blading CR219 and CR227, which is a blade and a haul road, or CR27, I apologize. As Commissioner Crockett, would you like to report on our solid waste meeting and your comments? Yes, she would. So we'll let her report on that one. We did have a good meeting, and we're planning on moving that one forward.
Comments on North 26th, Artesia and Duarte Road in the south.
North 26th, we have extended the engineer. We have a set of plans ready to bid, and he's working out bidding documents. We will competitively bid that one. We've also met with the city of Artesia, who is talking with their technical committee, and they are considering partnering with us to take that all the way to the intersection into town. They're very interested in that and would like, I think we're going to see a partnership out of that. So we'll be bringing that to you soon. But we're wanting to go ahead and bid that one and get it underway here within the fiscal year.
That's great.
Duarte Road?
Duarte Road, we're evaluating that one. We're going to go pull some cores on it to see if we have any structural subgrade under it. Pending the outcome of those cores will be if we do an overlay or if we just go reclaim it and do it. We're also going to put together a alignment for the intersections of McDonald and 285. We're facing some utility challenges as well as CID challenges, and to make those where they merge on the 285, but we're working through those. So we're going to get that one ready and bring it to you before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay, great. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
East bypass.
We'll let Wes report on that one.
Okay. Any questions?
I can tell you that we have had meetings on the West Bypass. Everyone that we've met with on that, we've met with BLM, and we have a path forward with them. They're going to want us to update our archaeological surveys going through there since it's been a while, and biological surveys, and then going through the right-of-way application with them. We've met with, and I've had phone calls with several of the private property owners that are still in support of the project. So we'll be updating those agreements and moving forward with that one. We have an engineer that we're going to go stake the right-of-way and try to get fence built along the right-of-ways here within the next year or so, and then be able to get through there and cut the actual path and try to get to, I forgot the road over there. No, the one that goes up, Hidalgo, thank you. We're going to try to get to the intersection of Dark Canyon and Hidalgo while we evaluate the routes to 62 180. So.
You have other questions, Commissioner?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Woods?
I know this is part of Freeholders Board, but Crystal and Heath, I got a call from one of the Freeholders Board about.
We were going to bring that with the Freeholders Board, but we reviewed the resolutions. We're not allowed to bring road acquire roads with freeholders. One thing that I will report, and I talked to Mr. Davis about, is we're going to update our processes for freeholders and acquiring roads to be more along the lines of what we have with our current road sections that we've updated, so that we can acquire these just with a vote and not being bringing up to PAVE standards and NMDOT standards and some of the resolutions that we have on the books right now. So I'll be bringing those in the next couple meetings to update those procedures with the board.
Okay. Mr. Henry?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Wes.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'll give you a report on Southeast Loop Road. Right now, we've got $12.7 million secured. And then probably once we get into construction, there's some match money that I'll need to come back to do a budget adjustment on for about $2 million. So that'll be about 14.7. We did receive word that we're going to get probably $2.7 million in capital outlay money. And then we're hoping that House Bill 2 goes through with the Senate amendment that would give us another $8 million, $5 million coming from Fulfer and $3 million coming from Senator Kernan. So that's what we're looking at. I will have on Carter Road, which is part of the Southeast Loop, and the only reason why it's part of the Southeast Loop is because there's a pinch point in that road where CID goes underneath it, and so two semis can't get by each other right there, and that's where all those sand facilities are at. And so I'll have an agreement or a scope from our consultant looking at adjusting that and widening that portion of Carter Road so that 2 semis can get by there.
Are we still, so I know we talk about the southeast bypass, and it ties in from 62, 180, and the Chute Relief Route, right? And then goes south and then goes over. It's Dead Cow Road, pretty much, that goes.
Old Refinery.
Old Refinery.
Yes, sir.
What about coming south there? Dead Cow Road's not, I can't say Dead Cow. Yeah.
U.S.
Refinery. That's what we all call it.
U.S.
Yeah. Dead Cow
Refinery
Road. We'll probably rename it. I think we'll have that as an agenda item, and it'll just be Dead Cow Road. So we could rename it Dead Horse Road if we don't get any money from the state, I guess. So
Eddie might die there.
Eddie could
might
starve
die.
to death, and we'll just put his grave out there. So, anyways,
The holdup on that portion right now, and Cass and I are working on this, but we're trying to get the CAD files from Pettigrew.
Okay.
And as soon as we get that and we get it over to the other consultant, they're gonna need to do some upgrades to those plans. One of the major upgrades to those plans will be where Old Refinery and 31 intersect, because 31's gonna become a 4-lane road. And we know that that's gonna happen, so we need to upgrade those plans there at that intersection to meet up with the 4-lane rather than the 2-lane.
okay. What do we need to do to get those from Pettigrew?
We're going to be setting up a conference call with Pettigrew and hopefully working that out.
Okay.
It's been an ongoing issue, and we've involved CES and their attorneys, who the agreement with Pettigrew was under that umbrella. There's just been some real challenges that you wouldn't expect from a service provider in this instance. So it's been going on for several weeks, and we're trying to get it to come to a culmination.
What about Grandy tying into Dead Cow?
So I do have a consultant looking at that. They're supposed to come up with a route to get across that river, and then also an estimated cost of design and construction.
Okay.
So we haven't been pushing there real hard because we're trying to get the plans and everything and Carter Road but we are taking a look at that.
Okay.
So, but looking at that crossing there to get it, I mean, it's huge. I mean, you had an issue on the southwest side that stopped that momentum a few years ago. This is all of that plus more. You'd have to have an elevated surface from the cap on the east side all the way across the river. It'd be a huge, huge investment to do that.
Sure.
So
I would like to continue to look at that and see what we can do. If we limit ourselves to the river crossings that we currently have, we're always, I believe, going to have some sort of a bottleneck. Mm-hmm. And we haven't done any studies or anything like that. And in my mind, that's a pretty easy bypass right there. Man, it ties a lot of things in together. I know that we struggle with the railroad tracks and other accesses there, but I don't know how the rest of the commissioners feel about that, but I would like to see if we can keep pursuing that avenue and see what we can get done.
So
I know we still have all of the easements except for one.
Yes, we sold that back, and that was kind of the main one right there where it would cross the river. And so the consultants are looking at what other places could be crossed with the right-of-way that we still have. And so that's in their scope to look at.
Okay. Do they have a time frame on getting back on their preliminary engineering report? Or?
I can get that for you. Like I said, I hadn't pushed it real hard just because I've been dealing with the other side of it, and then.
Well, you've been living in Santa Fe and getting quite a bit done up there too, so that's all right.
to be honest, I told them to put it as a lower priority, just with the money we've got and what we need to get rolling. That's just a huge hurdle, and it would set us back from the monies that have been committed and how they've been committed. To change the route would set us back 18 months.
And I'm not proposing changing the route. Leave the current route like we have and use all the monies we can there, but then just be a little creative on our other funding, whether it's county or whatever, to put that, I know the bridge is going to be expensive. Our we were thinking between 6 and 10, I think, is what the bridge was gonna be. But if we've got the state taking the largest portion of that, and then they can even build that intersection because it does fall between the two GPS locations, then we would be responsible for a short section from the river to U.S. Refinery Road, not Dead County Road, and then a small section from the river to Grandy Road. But also, I know that does create hurdles, but I think it's something that we, in my mind, it just looks like it alleviates a ton of traffic from town. And I don't know what the other commissioners think about that, but personally, that's my opinion. But I have no data to back that up.
And whenever I took the consultants out there to look at it, there was a bridge engineer that was from Arizona that was here, and I just said, I'm not going to take this to the bank, but could you just kind of throw out a number, guessing what you think it might be for the road wying off of Old Refinery and crossing the river and tying into one of the, I think it's Grandy. Mm-hmm. And he said, don't take this to the bank, but it's probably going to be somewhere around 9 million is what he was saying, maybe. But he said that all depends on a lot of different things, and if it was just a easy straight shot, no issues, somewhere right.
I think the number we got in the task force meeting one night was between $200 and $500 per square foot of bridge.
Okay.
So, anyways, I'm not going to hold the whole meeting up, but just did want to bring it up and keep that on.
And that number, he didn't really know exactly where the right-of-way was and where we were crossing. He was just looking at, maybe the narrower portion of the river and that kind of stuff. So, but they'll come up with something. And I really like that consulting group because it seems like in Arizona they've got a lot of bridges and a lot of low water crossings and flooding issues over there. And so I feel real comfortable with them. So.
I think so.
Okay, Commissioner Woods. I don't have any. Commissioner Henry. Okay. Then I guess it's to me to digress a little bit and talk a little bit more about what Commissioner McCutcheon and them were talking about as far as the deal with Pettigrew. Have we looked at the cost? What's going to be the legal cost of trying to get those CAD drawings versus just taking what we got and going with another another engineering firm to bring us to that point? Because have we compared that cost? Because it sounds to me like we're going to be headed to the courthouse and you can get a lot of dollars in it, real quick, and we might be better off to just move forward.
We have talked about it.
Yes.
And my other part of that is, since we did it through CES, it looks to me like they would stand good for part of that cost.
So if it's okay, can I just call you on the phone and give you the information on this? Because there's some of it that we probably...
Got to be cautious what we put out there.
Right now, and I can fill you in on where we're at, what the cost would be, and I can tell you one thing is we've got a time frame on this money. We've got to have that $11.7 million that we got from the state. We've got to have it spent and used up in 2 years, and so that's one of the biggest things is if we start over, it's not going to cost that much to get the plans done, but the timing and trying to get these things done in time and not losing that money is a big issue.
How serious are the CES attorneys to helping us?
So the CES attorneys
They've
gave us
participated, but at this point,
right.
they're
We've got Cass and then an attorney from a consulting group that's really working on it.
How do we motivate them?
probably ought to talk about this in closed session.
Okay.
Than putting it out on the airwaves.
Okay.
Good idea.
Okay. Yeah, I like the fact of what Stephen was talking about, is looking at the cost on coming across to Grandy, even if we do it. And one of the questions that I guess that I had, even if we didn't do a bridge, we did a low water crossing through that. How many times a year would that, would the water overflow affect a low water crossing on something like that, because, you know, I see a lot of traveling throughout the state and stuff where they have these gates on roads in which, when they do have an instance like that, they shut the gates, and traffic has to detour through that.
Right. So that's something that the engineering group that kind of looks after the waterways and stuff, they would have to take a good look at that, because there's so much water.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Right, Army Corps of Engineers would have to take a good look at that, because they're going to require on a low water crossing to make sure that a certain amount of water can flow through there at all times. So if you're restricting that any, you know, there's just some issues that come up.
But I know we have one at a smaller version at Hidalgo, and it encounters the same flow of water, because it hits Hidalgo before it hits the lower bridge in the lower river.
And I'm sure that the consultants will look at all different aspects and give us recommendations on what they feel would be the most economical and effective.
And that low water crossing on Hidalgo is really held up good. Okay, that's all the comments I have.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Wes.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Morning, Josh.
Morning, Josh. I just have a couple items to bring you guys up to speed on. The radio system, thank you for approving that maintenance contract today. We've already been in touch with Motorola. That should be getting started. All that will be interoperable with whatever system we choose to move forward with, but it's a great asset. The second thing is training. We had a meeting this week in the office, and we may be bringing a contract to you. We're not sure if the company requires a contract, but it is something that's been tested by the other departments, a couple other departments, and they're having great success getting more training completed. Very volunteer friendly, so we're hoping that'll move that step forward so we can become compliant with all the policies. We have sent out requests for a company to come in, evaluate our policies, and assist us with assuring that we meet all of them. We haven't received a reply yet, so we'll be following up with them. Hopefully we'll have an update for you guys at the next meeting. The medical director, the contract that y'all approved last meeting, has been put in place, and everything's moving that way, so we should have those policies for CAS to review here in a couple of weeks. So we're working on our budgets. The chiefs have been very good in understanding. We've taken the message from y'all to assure that we get everything budgeted that they're wanting within the fiscal year, and they've done some great planning and thinking. We've received a lot of 5-year plans in our office, so as we gather those, I will send them out to each of you so you can kind of see what their intentions are. Loving, for Commissioner Carlson, I'm hoping the first part of March. I was down in Loving the other day. I did sit down with the mayor, and he's hoping by the first part of March everything should be kind of settled down with some of the issues that they had arise personally. So we should be able to get that meeting kicked off and start negotiations to see what we're going to do. New apparatus updates, just to kind of refresh on everything real quick. The 2 Queen brush trucks were delivered to our office about 2 weeks ago, and they'll be up on the mountain within the next week. We just had some issues that Pierce had to come back down and address. Cottonwood's brush truck is nearing completion. It will be trailered to Las Vegas, Nevada for a conference. They want to use it as a show truck. So we agreed to do that, and in return we actually got 2 volunteers from Cottonwood sent to the conference on their dime. So that was a good deal. Riverside's tanker, it is in production. We have some pictures of that. Malaga and Otis's tankers, the POs have been accepted, and those should be going into production. Again, those bigger trucks are 12 to 14 months, so as we get some more, we'll give you more updates. The rapid response trucks for Atoka and Cottonwood have been ordered, so they should be in the next 8 to 12 weeks, and then probably a month or 2, I would say, to put everything together and get the equipment on them and have them in service. And then the Cottonwood Station, I want to commend Brian for helping us get the maintenance issues. We did have some warranty issues. It was nearing the end. He did help us get it all addressed, and I believe we've received another year, right?
The items that are repaired will be extended warranty for
Okay.
another year. And then we also still have a 1-year warranty walk to perform to identify any other standards or things that aren't meeting our expectations.
So, and he's already scheduled that walkthrough with them before that expires to assure that everything held up, so. That's all I have. Any questions, comments, concerns? Thank you all. Have a good day.
Sounds pretty legit.
Thanks, Josh.
Sounds legit.
Any other department heads? Okay.
I'm not department head, but I'll come up. Good morning,
Good morning, Sheriff.
everybody.
Morning.
I got several things, and I'll go through them quickly because we've been here a little while already. But I wanted to thank everybody that came to my President's reception in Santa Fe. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but the turnout was great. And I got several compliments about how well supported I am by my county because of how many people were actually there from the county. So that was really cool. I had a citizen bring up some questions about some of our units, our chargers specifically. They're like, well, how come there's no mud on them? How come they're not out there? I said, because they're not allowed to go off-road in those. We have trucks and SUVs for that. Those are special purpose vehicles. So if anybody ever asks, those are special purpose vehicles that were bought specifically for highway patrol. Not something I want to do, but something I'm saddled with, as you all know. So if there's ever a question as to why the Chargers aren't out there driving around in the county, as far as, I mean, on the dirt roads and backways, they'll get in trouble if they do that because they'll tear them up, and I don't need them torn up. And they will on emergency if they need to. They'll take them off road. I mean, whatever, if it means saving a life or something. But that's the whole purpose of those, and we only have a few of them, and that's the whole reason. I don't think I'll ever buy any more. They're not the greatest vehicles, but that answers that part, I think. We were full staff up until a couple of days ago. We had to let one go, and another one resign because he didn't make it in the academy. So we're going to work on that, but it was great for a little while it lasted, right? And but I will tell you this: all of our numbers are up. All the units within the agency, our numbers are up. Call volume, citations written, which is not one of those real big ones that I love to see, but it's necessary right now. Everything is up. You know, my civil division, I had to add another, I had to get JB help over there, and it worked out good because we had someone who fell right into that. But I probably need 2 more in my civil division, and I probably need 3 or 4 more over at court security, which I know isn't going to happen. But the reason I'm saying this is those folks are doing miracles. I mean, they're working miracles. Because our volume is just everything. It's off the charts right now. I've been coordinating with the county manager, and I really thank him for his wisdom and guidance and support. We've been talking, getting ready for budget, and I have several. I'm going to have several creative things that I'm going to be bringing here, some requests of how to maybe reorganize some stuff. I do have 2 big ticket items that I'm going to be coming to you with. They're absolutely necessary. I'm very fiscally conservative, just like y'all are, but there's a couple of things that we've just got to do. We've been kicking the can down the road for a while, so I'm going to bring that'll all be being brought. I'm going to prime you for that beforehand individually. I'll give you my proposals and let you look at them, and we can talk about them. So moving on and putting on my New Mexico County's president hat, the mantra so far in Santa Fe has been spin, 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 tax, 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 and control, control, control. Our wishes are basically being ignored. Eddy County, Lee County, Chavez County, we're kind of just pushed to the side. And God bless Jim Townsend, Catherine Brown, Gay Current, I mean, all of them. Ron Griggs made an especially impassioned speech on the SB 5 red flag that I was really, really appreciated. So they're fighting for us and they're working for us real hard, but they're getting steamrolled. And I'm sure you know this. I'm not telling anything that you don't know. I chose not to fall in line with a lot of the other sheriffs and bring to you a resolution to oppose the red flag. And the reason I did that is not because I don't oppose it and because I don't agree with them. I felt it was, for us, redundant. Last year, we did a Second Amendment sanctuary resolution. I've told everyone that hasn't changed. So for us to say we oppose the red flag, well, we already did that, in my opinion. So unless, if you folks want that, I would support it. And I support my fellow sheriffs that have gone and done that. But I didn't think it was necessary for us to do. And I thought it might be confusing for some of our citizens. So I didn't do that. There's no signature yet, which is really strange on SB 5. That's really strange that she hadn't signed it yet. So we don't know. And there's an issue, and it's a legal issue, and Cass, it would be, I think it could fall under personnel and pending litigation or potential litigation that I would like to address you in closed session at some point about the red flag. And I think it's very important that I address you and let you know some of the issues that I have with it and what could happen with us as a county. And trying to keep track of all the dadgum numbers of the bills, I've completely lost it. I try. The PERA one, I know I talked to everybody about this before and said how much it's going to affect us as a county and as employees. We have lobbied heavily with, NMC has lobbied heavily. We've worked on this a lot because this was one of our priorities, was opposing any kind of increase for the counties. We were successful in getting some of we got some of the percentages down to where we actually get the funds back. They're still going to take it away from us. Don't think they're not going to do that. They're still going to take more percentage out. But we got the percentages down like 80 and 90% instead of 90 and 100, where we actually start getting some, of the funding levels. I hope I'm not losing you on this, but because I'm trying to be quick. We'll get our money back sooner. We'll get some of our percentages back sooner that they take away from us. So keep your fingers crossed on that one. But we've done a lot for that. HB 328, I'm not sure which one it is. It's that union bill, the collective bargaining. What?
It's 110.
Was it 110? Okay.
So there was a Senate bill and a House bill. So Senate Bill 110 and
okay.
matching House bill.
Thank you. Yes, that one, man, I'll tell you what. That's been very, very, very contentious. And initially, New Mexico counties, we opposed the whole thing. We're like, no, this is garbage. We don't want anything to do with this. Our folks, including Steve Kopelman, he lost his wife and now he's back. Thank goodness, because we need Steve. Steve does a great job for us. There was a lot of good faith negotiations that went on this. Steve and Grace were able to get some of the most offensive, horrible stuff taken out of this bill. One was the reappropriation of funds. I mean, that was basically going to give that was going to destroy our state. I mean, could have. It was going to really hurt us. There were we got so many things taken out of there. Now, we didn't win everything. Now, part of that good faith negotiation was that we'd back off a little bit. And I know as president, I caught a bunch of, several calls and texts and emails from some folks, especially in the county manager's affiliate, that had issues. And I said, well, you got to look at the big picture here. We negotiated in good faith. They gave in on some of this stuff. This thing was going to pass the way it was. There was no way to stop it. It was going to go. Why they negotiated with us, I have no idea. Why they made concessions that they had to make for us, that they did make for us, I have no earthly idea, but they did. And they could easily pull back those concessions if we continued to oppose them as an association. Therefore, as on the executive committee, we voted to pull back and remain neutral. We're not supporting it by any means. We still disagree with it, and they know we disagree with it. But we just pulled back and remain neutral. And we're going to have to talk about that at the full board, and there's going to be some people that disagree with that stance. But we thought that was the best way to mitigate the problem. We pull back, remain neutral. We're not going to support it. There's no way, shape, or form we're going to support it. But they could have easily, like I said, pulled back everything, all the concessions they gave to us. And then if we tried to negotiate again on something else in good faith, they'd be like, no, you guys, they might shut us down. So that was a decision that was made. It was a hard one. It was an ugly one. But that's what we did. HJR 8, House Joint Resolution 8. Remember the election, the election tune-up, 50-year tune-up, whatever they called that thing. Yeah, that thing was horrible. And I had to sue to get, and it went straight to the Supreme Court, and I won. And the district attorneys had their own lawsuit, and they sued and they won because they wanted to change our terms. They wanted to have direct control over our elections. Well, it was ruled as unconstitutional. So guess what they're going to do now? HJR 8 seeks to change the Constitution, therefore they can do that again and it won't be unconstitutional. Go figure. What's that? For certain, now they've excluded state offices. Now it's just going to apply to county offices. So the state legislature wants to have more control over local county offices than they do over state offices. Why do you think that's so? Think about that one for a minute. How upset have us sheriffs made them? Anyhow, so keep in mind that one is going to go to a referendum if it passes. I don't think it's going to. I hope it's not. They're going to try and shut that down. But if it does go to a statewide referendum, I hope that you will join me in opposing it. I'll be going to Santa Fe tomorrow to be there for the close, the last day, to assess the damage that is done. And there's a few meetings I need to go to. At the end of the month, I'm going to go to D.C. for the NACO Legislative Conference and represent New Mexico as president of MC. Hopefully we can get an idea of what the nationwide pulse is on all this, especially after the impeachment hearings and everything else. It's kind of wild and settled down and wild again, so we don't know. And the word I've gotten from the White House is that the president will be coming to New Mexico maybe a couple more times, at least one more time, and I'd like to see him come here, honestly. So we'll see what happens with all that. I'm talking to him regularly, and not him regularly, with the White House regularly, with Will. Yeah, I've got him on speed dial. But anyway, that's it in a nutshell. I've got a ton more, but we're just, I'm not going to keep everybody here and bore you to death. So that's what we're doing. Do anybody have any comments, questions for me?
No, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Any other department updates? Okay, moving on. Travel request consent agenda. Do you have any questions?
I'm gonna pull one item because I do have a question. I need to pull A.
Okay.
I don't need to pull any.
Mr. Wood? Mr. Henry? Okay. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve travel request, consent agenda, removing item A.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Hutchins.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay, let's do
Chairman,
that.
I had a question for Josh, just on, I'm not saying I don't approve this, I Googled it, because Firehouse World just sounds like Comic-Con or something for firefighters. So, I Googled it, and it says that it's a West Coast conference, and I'm kind of curious, even though we are in the West Coast, but a lot of those things don't really pertain to us, they pertain more to, like, the actual West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington.
Yes, ma'am. So Firehouse Magazine is who puts on this conference. It's kind of like the FDIC, the one
Yeah,
in
that's why I
Indianapolis.
said it sounded kind of like Comic-Con.
So is what you go to is basically they bring in speakers from all across the country. They do one on the west and one on the east to eliminate, kind of minimize travel. So if you live on this side of the country, it's easier for you to get to that spot
Well,
versus
if
the
there's
east.
such a great conference, why do we only have two from the exact same?
Well, we have two going from Otis because that's all that's available to go, and then the two from Cottonwood. That's the same exact conference that they're going to.
Right.
So
Okay.
basically, it's just a.
I was just
scheduling.
curious that
Yes,
it
ma'am.
was really beneficial to us, because a lot of it seemed like it pertained to actual people that have like a lot of wildland fires and things like that. And there, I did see there was a lot of EMS, but
Yeah,
making
there's-
sure that
there's a wide variety.
it's a beneficial
Yes,
thing
ma'am.
for us and not Comic-Con for
And especially
firefighters.
if they go and what we're working on to assure that when they get back, they bring back what they learn and pass it on to everybody else. It is a big benefit.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve Freddie and David's attendance to the Firehouse World in Las Vegas.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood. Crockett.
Yes.
Hutchins.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes. Okay. Emergency business.
Think we have any?
Okay. Legislative update.
Mr. Fanning came back last night. He's taking care of some personal business today. He's been up there for an extended period. Sheriff Cage gave a good synopsis of, there's just been a lot of things. If you watch the legislative record, it changes every day. There's been a lot going back and forth. Wes has been up there quite a bit. Did we get everything we wanted? Physically, we didn't get all of the outcomes that we were hoping for, but I do think that we moved the needle somewhat on the recognition. We built awareness, and we're beginning to build fluency about some things that are going on here in southeast New Mexico. So I think by the actions of some of our legislators and the interaction with the folks that we've sent up there in the broad spectrum of county commissioners, county employees, Bat Brigade, and Artesia, you know, with Haley and that crew, the messages are being received. So, although it'd be nice to get all the monies we were looking for this year, I think we've set the stage in believe me, it's really chafing to have to wait another year to get some more attention and more money and things like that we need. But that's the constraints that we have. So the lodger's tax passed both the House and the Senate. I think they have to do some combining to get the final outcome. I haven't seen in the legislative review, I still have a couple to review, that the officers for both the Senate and the the Senate and the House have signed off on it. But that should be a kind of a, I'd say a given. Nothing's ever a given, but it should follow through and should be put in place. Multiple fronts. There was some action late last night. I think all of the commissioners got that from both Jerry and Mr. Heaton related to the Holtec opposition. So lots of fronts going on, lots of different activities. NMDOT has been really, really positive and responsive to the engagements that we've had with them. Secretary Sandoval has been very easy to work with, cooperative, and that's positive. Their commission meeting is going to be here in Carlsbad March 19th. I thought they were going to be over at Pecos River Village, but I don't think that venue's big enough for them because Carousel House was booked. So I'm not sure exactly where the venue's going to be, but we'll be in attendance at that meeting. It starts at 8:30 on the 19th. As soon as we get the location confirmed, we'll put that out. But again, working to try and build momentum, have our message heard in multiple places. So thank the staff that have worked, on that messaging and getting it in the appropriate places. So very, very positive outlook from the efforts in this short session. So I think Jerry would echo the same things. He will put a summary together when the fire goes out and the smoke starts to clear a little bit as to what impacts us and what we should be paying attention to going forward. He'll have that next week, I think, is what he mentioned to me this morning. So I'll just leave it at that. If you have any questions that we can maybe answer about what the landscape looks like up there today.
I don't have any questions of you.
No, sir.
Thank you.
I just had one question. I know we talked about having a meeting with the governor.
Yes.
And is that on or is that off, or just where do we stand?
So it's not confirmed at this point. She's been very elusive. We've tried multiple approaches and multiple angles. I think what's going to happen is she will. We might be able to get something set up after session that we could go up and have a conversation. Would it be better to meet before session ends? Really I think our objective is to try and influence the money she has in her account to disperse in different spaces and places with some attention in southeast New Mexico, principally some local road loops, reliefs, whatever. I don't know that, because I physically don't know, that she has to dedicate those monies before session ends. I think she has the latitude to dedicate them when and how she chooses. So I don't think our opportunity is lost, but in that regard, but I don't think the likelihood of us getting to see her before Thursday is pretty low. So we're still trying. It's not that we've given up, but we've tapped all of the political capital we thought we had, and we're still knocking on the door. So.
I think that any time we get to meet with the governor, even if it's to set the stage for the end of this year and the first of next year, I think it's a smart move.
And potentially, if we can get up there in the next week or two, we invite her to come down here and host her down here if she can dedicate a day to us, we'll show her a myriad of things that help build her fluency about what's going on here and just help her help us.
I agree. You can use me as to lure her as bait. I actually, well, no, and honestly,
Be staked out.
if
For the record, sir, would you care to
Law
rephrase?
Enforcement Protection Fund changes that we're trying to get where it gives us more money in law. She actually agreed with me and with Steve Kopelman that she agreed to support that. I in turn agreed to give her a cowboy hat if she did that, so I owe her a black cowboy hat, apparently. No, she said she does not want a pink.
She wants black like his.
Yeah,
The only way she's wearing pink is if he wears pink.
Yeah, that the cowboy hat. But, I mean, again, we can get along a little bit, she and I, and as much conflict as we have. I'm not the most hated sheriff in New Mexico, but there's a few more ahead of me.
That's your buddy over in
Lee County.
Yes.
You're pretty close though.
So, but anyway, I want to put that out there, I guess I may end up owing her a cowboy hat, so. The other thing I wanted to point out, if I could, since we're in legislative, and I forgot to bring up, recreational marijuana, and I know that that's big to a few of you up here. Recreational marijuana is dead for this session, and that's thanks to a lot of work with sheriffs, with New Mexico counties, with a lot of people, because we're not ready yet. It's gonna happen, and I predict it's gonna happen next year, but we're not ready yet. And the biggest thing that stopped it was the DWI. That was the biggest thing. So we pushed that really hard, and I'm happy that we slowed it down, at least. We're not gonna stop it, but we slowed it down. So I figured you'd wanna know that. That one's dead, it's tabled, it's not gonna happen this year.
Great. Okay, anything else?
No, sir.
Any comments?
No, legislation.
Okay. Elected officials and legislators, comments and announcements. Okay, county managers' comments and announcements.
We as a county have a lot going on that we're trying to keep pace with, get funds for, so a lot of moving parts and pieces. We're meeting this week with industry to talk about some of the match monies that Secretary Sandoval said he would, NMDOT would fund up to $10 million with match for what we're referring to as the relief routes off of 285, and we wanted to get those started before they started construction. So we're gonna work hard to press forward on that. As Wes mentioned, we're trying to get resolution on our plans so we could proceed with the southeast loop road. And Jason's got his raw data from the consulting company who's collected all the data, so we've looked at some of that raw information. He'll compile that in terms of road conditions, and then we'll work on a summary with the commission. Whether the summary comes at a commission meeting or we do it separately depends on how long the presentation is and how many questions you have. We could provide a summary at a commission meeting and then have some discussion off-site or offline just to answer your questions about this road, that road, the other road. So that's work in progress. All of the departments and organizations, I think Sheriff Cage had mentioned that, you know, all of the statistics are up. That goes across the county, whether it's, you know, the clerk's office, the assessor's office, the treasurer's office, facilities maintenance. Brian took me, we went over to the courthouse, revered and venerated as it is. Oh my goodness. We spoke to Judge Gray. Oh Lord. That facility has to have some attention, or the courts need some capabilities. The building aside, the courts need some capability that the building doesn't afford them. So, anyway, detention, unfortunately, their numbers are, I was talking to someone and I told them what the intake per month at detention is. They were staggered. They're staggered. It's at least 10 per day, 3,000 a month go in that front door. 3,000 a month. And there's some real challenges with those that go into that facility. Just you saw it when we did our little tour briefly, but you just look at the information that comes. So I really want to say thank you to everybody in the county departments, county functions, county. The work that you're doing is exceptional. I think the county organization is running smooth as it can with the resources that we have physically and personnel-wise. So thank you very much, and we'll continue to work on those efforts. We're in budget cycle, so we'll have more of that discussion coming up and try to get the organization and the assets to run the way that citizens of the county would like to see it. So thank you.
Okay. County Commissioners, comments and announcements. Commissioner Crockett.
Okay, I just want to kind of go on the coattails of what our county manager said on that $10 million that we've been promised from NMDOT. This is a really, really big deal, and I think as commissioners, we all need to step up to the plate on this, because it's not, NMDOT doesn't just give counties this type of funding every day for county roads. And for these to be used for alternate routes, but the key to this is we have to get $10 million in matching funds from the industry. So we all need to dig into our Rolodexes and our phones and start calling people within the industry that we know can make some of these matching funds happen, because if we don't have matching funds, we don't get these funds. And to have the funds to do these alternate routes on county roads is big, because that's monies that don't have to come out of our pocket. So we all need to help Wes. Jerry Fanning needs to help Wes, and I know Mr. County Manager is digging into his contacts. And the meeting that's happening tomorrow, I know you guys are going to work on that, but I think that it's going to take us making some phone calls as well for that. I want to say thank you to Wes and NMDOT. Kind of a funny thing, the sheriff will probably find this funny, but as you guys know, late last year, New Mexico 128 was designated a safety corridor. Well, they had never changed the speed limit signs. They were still 65, and the state police have been giving tickets out there, and I had several people from WIP, actually pretty high up, asked me if there was anything I could do. So Wes and I drafted an email and sent it to Tim. And actually, it was really funny. On Sunday, I got an email back saying that they had changed the signs from 65 miles to 55 miles an hour every 5 miles. So anyway, that was kind of a little funny thing, but I'm glad that the sheriff weren't out there giving anybody tickets in that safety corridor. We successfully, and I wish John Waters was still here to report on it, but as you know, he's always successful. This is the 8th year running. He was able to get $185,500 back in JTIP funds again for Eddy County. We got the largest amount again this year, so that's really good. 8th year running on that. And then, as Jason said, we had our first solid waste meeting. Commission, what are we calling that? Commission?
Solid Waste
Advisory. And Jason did a fantastic job, and we had a super meeting. We are going to focus on, of course, solid waste as far as the landfill goes and some permitting issues, and as well as illegal dumping. But we're going to have our big quarterly kickoff meeting in March. And we've got 2 representatives from Artesia, 2 from the city, and then 2 from the county. And as well as code enforcement and several others represented. So I want to say thank you to Jason on that. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioner McCutcheon.
Just a couple of things.
got a call from a Lee County resident, and they are putting together something for the state, for the NMDOT, and it's about cleaning up the roads, cleaning up the corridors, and you know, the NMDOT's offered to give us a bunch of money, so I don't want to make them too upset, but we do want the roads clean, so I don't know if we have some sort of a joint effort or something like that to maybe help clean up the bar ditches and stuff. If you really look, really look on the side of the road as you're driving around, man, it's a pretty bad deal, and they can use our support in that, but we also need some support from the DOT. Also, I had a chance this last week to spend some time with some people from North Dakota. They run a service company in North Dakota. He said the biggest difference he saw down here was that things weren't as tidy. He says it's just not as tidy. He says, I don't know if people don't, and I noticed that when we went, or Commissioner Carlson and Wes and I, and we went up there to North Dakota. Everything was painted the same color, and so what we have here is basically the broken windows theory. Is that if there is a broken window, it's easy just to break another window, right? And so that's how they cleaned up the graffiti in New York City in the late 80s and early 90s. Is they cleaned up the entire city just by fixing the graffiti, and it changed everything. And so, you know, Commissioner Crossing, I was joking about the tires in his district and the river, river blitz and things like that. Those are important. And you can see some benefits, but the benefits don't actually come immediately. But after it's cleaned, I'm going to imagine that the amount of tons thrown out at the river is significantly diminished in the first few months until there's a few starter pieces of trash thrown. Then it's no big deal to throw a beer bottle down, or it's no big deal to leave something there. And so, just some comments from people on the outside. We do need to try to keep a clean community. People have pride in that, and people throw less trash away. People speed less on the highways if it's clean. People wash their vehicles more if things are, and they obey more traffic laws. And so a cleaner community in turn equals a safe community. So that's kind of coming down the pipe. I believe that Chaves County and Lee County are going to send some sort of a resolution letter or something to the NMDOT ask for assistance in cleaning up. And we need to figure out our place in that, but we do, I believe, here in Eddy County support clean roads and tidy thoroughfares. So one other comment, I know that we're getting ready for budget time, and it's this last time was a bit of a show with the PSAs, and we had talked about sending a letter out for everybody to say, hey, this is what we need, this is why we need it, and I don't know if we have a committee, if we set a special commission meeting, if we have them present and limit them to 5 minutes or something like that, but I'd actually like to know, instead of just giving blanket money out, exactly what they would require, exactly what they're going to do with the money, so that we can best help the community with those monies, to know where they're going when we get to budget time. So other than that, Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woods.
Just a couple of things. I heard on the radio this morning coming down, there was a head-on collision on 82. I don't know if the sheriff knows anything about it or not, but, it's a frustration with people out there. 45-mile-an-hour speed limits almost all the way out to 529. And orange barrels everywhere, but there's nobody working. And there's a lot of frustration going on out there, and I know it's not our project, but it's in our county. And you can talk to 3 different people as to what's going on, you get 3 different answers, and none of them really makes any sense. So anyway, just a note on that. But on the SB 5 bill that the sheriff was talking about, and I heard this from 2 different people coming out of Santa Fe, that the governor wants to have a photo op with, fly people in from Parkland, Florida, and have this photo op signing SB 5. So, I guess we'll see on the news when that happens. But other than that, that's all I have.
We need a tornado gun.
I'll keep mine real quick. I'm glad the sheriff mentioned the resolution for the sanctuary state, basically, because I was getting the same question. as far as why aren't y'all doing this? As far as that's a standalone, we disagree with it last year. It just got worse this year. The person presenting it in Santa Fe was really terrible presenting it. He was really terrible presenting last year when he wanted to make us look foolish with the right to work. He was also the legislator that presented that and stood up to say you could be fired for having red socks. So I'll never forget that representative and all his wisdom, because he was just about as factual on that bill, I guess. I mean, I'm one of those nerds that watch every floor session and try to jump into committees and watch them online. Shockingly, SB 5, you couldn't. There was a little bubble there. I'm sure our IT department could have fixed that immediately. Santa Fe's couldn't. So for that entire 3-hour session, for some reason, their IT department, it was snowy that day, so maybe they just couldn't get there in time. So that was disappointing. But I'm assuming he was about as factual as he was in the committee meetings. The only other comment, and I'll try to keep it somewhat brief, I know we're trying to get along with Santa Fe, I just can't, because I wonder how many other states have had the surpluses that our state has had and can still end up a budgeting session in the deficit. And how long are we just taking the California, New York model, and when do we run out of cash to where our citizens are hurt? And then what shocks me is we've got to send our budget that we're working on to Santa Fe for them to approve it. So I think we're pretty conservative on our budgets. I'm glad that we keep a focus and take care of the folks, working on the roads, doing the things that they've asked us to work on. I think we've stayed focused on making sure our constituents are listened to, and that we're doing what they ask and not doing what our party has suggested to do from the national down. You can see on national level they can't get it done, so what are they doing? They're pushing it to these liberal states that are just jamming it through whether their citizens want it or not. And it's just completely disgusting and disappointing, because all the money they've spent in the last 2 years on their little special projects, I've still yet to see our governor, who did not do it on the state of the state, I already mentioned it, but I've never seen a thank you to oil and gas, who has given them all that money for them to spend on all their special projects to make themselves feel good. And all those special projects were still last in everything. And they've controlled the state for about 100 years. So congratulations. I appreciate what they do, but let's start getting what the citizens want done and get it done. And I've yet to see it. This session wraps up. It's another session of we're going to do what makes us all feel good, and I don't see anything that got done. So that's very disappointing. But the North citizens continue to vote for the same people to send them back to do the same fantastic work about making sure people that wear red socks are safe at work. So that's all I have.
Okay. Very good. I totally agree with what you said. You know, our problem is that we're a very conservative end of the state, and we have very conservative citizens. That's not the majority throughout the state, and we're having to pay for it. So I totally agree with what you said. Along that lines, one of the things that I was looking at, I've been looking at several times, is the report that Arrowhead put out to us, and kind of thinking back when I was president of the Associated Contractors of New Mexico, one of the things that we used to get on that was a report from the FHWA that showed the contributing states and the recipient states, and it would show a comparison of the funds that the states provided for highways and roads and stuff, their budget to their DOT departments, and then it would show the funding that they received from FHWA, which, so some states were contributing states and some states were donor states, and New Mexico is a donor state. Thinking along that line, one of the things that struck me was, you know, it would be nice to have, when we go talk to Santa Fe, it would be nice to have like an Arrowhead study that showed a map in the counties of New Mexico that showed which are the donor counties and how much are they donating to the state budget and how much are they receiving in fundings from different programs and stuff throughout the state. And so we would have donor counties and we would have recipient counties, and I think that that would be a big plus that we could take to the state legislature with us next year when it's going to be the long session. And I just thought, man, I'd love to have that, because then we got something to talk about when we go talk to these individual legislators and they say, well, what are you doing for my county? Or what are you doing for my district? And we can say, well, here's a map that shows what your district and your county have provided to the state versus what we have provided. This is what we get back, this is what we provided in whole. So I thought that that would be something that we ought to look at over this next year, and would be some really good information to carry with us. So other than that, that's pretty much what I had.
Mr. Chairman, I had one other thing, if it's okay. To Commissioner McCutcheon's comment, Wes and Mary might tell me I'm totally wrong, but I think our NMDOT district has monies to clean up the roads, but they don't have employees, so they've tried 3 years in a row, I think, because Dave Sepich was still commissioner when they tried the first time to send it out for RFP, and they got 0 response. So now that money's just sitting there, and they tried working with Mary and her group to possibly do some kind of MOU with the city or the county to allow groups to clean it up. So there has been quite a bit of work done on that in the Eddy County and Carlsbad side that you could probably use to give information to Chavez and to Lee County.
Okay. Great.
Cindy.
The DWI program has every weekend roadway cleanup communities. It involves 2 off-duty sheriff's deputies that work for me at their overtime rate of pay out of my budget, supervising offenders who work in community service. They alternate between Carlsbad and Ortiz. It's every weekend, 7 a.m. until 1 in the afternoon. And we do manage a couple of miles of Adopt a Highway roadway fund or funding for that program. We don't actually get funds from Adopt a Highway, but we maintain 1 mile in North Eddy County, 1 mile in South Eddy County with our roadway cleanup crews. These are court-ordered offenders that do this work. They're supervised by the off-duty sheriff's deputies because they understand traffic control and traffic safety. They know how to deal with people who can be difficult, and they know what to do if they come upon a dead body, a load of dope or something like that. And so we've been doing that for about 21 years.
Might be a place for some of that money, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That gives you some info to go on.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Ken, looks like we're gonna need to move into executive session. Do we need a motion for that?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we go into executive session in accordance with the State of New Mexico Open Meetings Act, Section 10-15-1H2, which authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to go into executive session to discuss limited personnel matters.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I think that what we would like to do is 11:15.
Sounds good.
11:15, we will resume. Okay? Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Henry.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
McCutcheon. Carlson.
Yes.